around Greenland, around these inflammatory statements by President Macron, by President van der Leyen, from what we have seen in the Japanese bond markets. We saw a 6 standard deviation move in Japanese bonds, which has spilled over to other markets. And I've been in touch with my Japanese economic colleagues, and I'm assured that they will take measures to stabilize that market. And just so everyone knows, that this notion that Europeans would be selling US assets came from a single analyst at Deutsche Bank. Of course, the fake news media, led by the Financial Times, amplified it, and the CEO of Deutsche Bank called to say that Deutsche Bank does not stand by that analyst report. I'm waiting for President Trump to arrive, and that will be done at his level.
Great, thank you. Let's take the next question, please. We'll move to this side of the room. Sir, right here. Name and outlet, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stefan Lanz, biggest news media of Switzerland, 20 minutes. Have there been, can you give us an update on the trade negotiations and tariff negotiations with Switzerland? Have there been talks already? Will there be talks? Will you have meetings with homologues from the Swiss Federal Council?
Yeah, I'm seeing President Parmalat today, who I have a very good relationship with. We got to know each other in 2025. I find him to be very economically sophisticated, on trade, on economics. He's a fantastic advocate for the French people, and I think with his leadership that we will be able to land a trade deal that is fair for the American people and ensures the continued prosperity of Switzerland.
That's great. Thank you. We'll take the next question. Sir, right here, second row, name and outlet, please.
Yes, thank you. Holger Ahlich, Swiss business publication Handelszeitung. Mr. Secretary, I listened yesterday to your session at Davos where you said US needs to take Greenland not to be drawn into a major conflict, but by aiming at taking Greenland, aren't you creating that conflict with your allies in Europe? Thank you.
I think that we are asking our allies to understand that Greenland needs to be part of the United States. And just a little history lesson, the United States bought the US Virgin Islands from Denmark during World War I. And I will remind everyone that Denmark remained neutral during World War I. They actually sold quite a bit to the Germans. But the Danish understood then the importance of the US Virgin Islands. They were worried about the German ramifications if the war spread to the Caribbean, and the US needed the US Virgin Islands. They wanted a calm Caribbean after purchasing the Panama Canal from the French.
Great. Let's move to the next question, please. Let's go back to this side of the room. In the glasses, second row, name and outlet, please. Thank you. As a warning, everyone, we have about 5 minutes left. The schedule's a little tight today, so we'll have time for about 2 or 3 more questions at the most. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Alina Trabatoni, Montel News. So tariffs and trade actions, in theory, strengthen the dollar, and since LNG is priced in dollars, could a stronger dollar make US LNG more expensive for European buyers in euro terms? And isn't there concern that European markets could look elsewhere for suppliers?
Well, your question doesn't make sense, because if you just said it was priced in dollars, then why would they look elsewhere for supplies? If oil comes from Saudi, it's priced in dollars. If oil comes from the North Sea, it's priced in dollars. So I don't think I understand the question.
Yeah, LNG, but I mean, they could get better deals elsewhere.
Well, I think you're tripping on your own question, that there's a global price for oil, and the only way to get a better deal elsewhere is to buy sanctioned oil from Venezuela, sanctioned oil from Iran, and sanctioned oil from Russia. I will point out that the EU, 4 years into the Ukraine-Russia conflict, continues to fund the Russian war machine by buying cheap Russian oil. In 2018, President Trump warned the Europeans, do not build Nord Stream 2. Do not buy Russian oil. And guess what funded, guess what gave Vladimir Putin the war chest to fund this war? The European purchases of Russian oil.
Great. Thank you. We'll move to the next question, please. I'm going to give some love to the back. Gentleman back here, please. Orange lanyard, head with the beard. Yeah, yes, beard. Name and outlet, please. Microphone's coming from this side.
Thank you for the floor. Raphael Zwallen, Swiss News Agency. I have a question on trade, and my understanding you would like to export more agricultural products and cars to Europe under American standards, but the European standards are different. So are you asking European partners to change the standards, or do you respect that in Europe we may have other standards?
Well, I think that we can look at global standards. For instance, our partners in Japan agreed that U.S. standards are to remove a lot of their onerous standards. Let's be clear, Europe is a regulatory morass that is built on bureaucracy and layering of rules that constrain economic activity and economic growth. As we've seen from the Draghi report, that Europe taxes itself, I believe it's 50% on goods, 100% on services intra-Europe. So I think that Europe should break down the intra-Europe trade barriers, and I think that they should break down the external trade barriers, because what we find is these artificial standards are called non-tariff trade barriers, and that they are a major problem throughout the world.
That's great, and this is going to be the last question then today, I think. We'll conclude it up here back in the front row, please, sir. With laptop, name, and outlet.
Hi, Laurent Thomé with Agence France Presse. Couple of questions, if I may. Could you tell us if President Trump, what happened with Air Force One, and if you think, if President Trump will be here on time for his meetings and his speech? And this morning, President Macron's office said that France wants a NATO mission, a NATO exercise in Greenland. What would you have to say about that?
Couple of things. I believe President Trump is going to be about 3 hours late. I haven't seen the updated schedule, and that if this is what all President Macron has to do when the French budget is in shambles, I would suggest that he focuses on other things for the French people.
Would you take a question from the UK, special relationship? Go on, one question.
Sure. We'll have one last question, very, very eloquently asked. If we could have the microphone. Microphone woman's left. Here, feel free to use my microphone.
Hi, Sue Chan from The Telegraph in London. Sir Keir Starmer has irked the president on issues such as Chagos, as you mentioned, the digital services taxes, and of course Greenland.
And Diego Garcia.
Yes, of course. Are these issues tied to more progress on UK-US trade ties, and are any more trade talks scheduled? Thank you.
I haven't seen that any more trade talks are scheduled. As you know, UK stepped up. They became the model for the first trade deal. And as a result, as always with President Trump, the first deal is the best deal. And because of special relationship, UK got a very low rate. I think that we are continuing to negotiate, but that there have been some glitches in the trade deal. I am sure that the Starmer government will push forward.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the time, everybody. We'll stay in touch and have a wonderful day. Thanks a lot.